was born and raised right here in the streets, man. I could be out in these streets.
Unlike any other place, the inner city seems to expose the hurt of all society. "15 years ago, this Minneapolis neighborhood was dominated by criminal activity and the despair that went with it.
We are here at Franklin Steele Park in the shadow of downtown Minneapolis, around 17th and Portland. This is not the best neighborhood.
Before ICCM was on Park Avenue, I used to be on Franklin Avenue, and it was called the Trail. It was called the Trail because many of us walked there night and day to get drugs, to turn tricks, just to hang out and just wreak havoc. We had nowhere else to go. There was no one else to turn to.
The neighborhood was desperate for change.
I didn't ever know that I was an alcoholic or a drug addict.
Change began to come about when Chris and Monica De Laurentiis opened their home to the addicts, the prostitutes, the abused, and the homeless.
And that was the beginning of our church. We had 35 homeless drug addicts who joined our church, and we picked them up and we brought them to our home over here, began discipleship, church services, and in 30 days we grew to about 95, 98 people.
Today, ICCM Life Center reaches out to over 1,000 people a week through its church services, street teams, support groups, and life skills training programs. Discipleship is at the core of all ministry at ICCM Life Center.
When we say discipleship, we're not talking about a one-day-a-week Sunday school. We're talking about intense training that includes life skills along with all the other support groups that go on during the week. They spend half their week in church, and that's to bring into balance a life that is so out of balance.
It's like they're rebirthing kids and raising them up. And that's where I love about the ministry. They took time with us and loved on us and nursed us to the point where we got back into knowing who we were when we were real lost.
Their lives are so torn apart. They don't have the resources. They grew up in projects where everybody was in the same boat. Nobody could help anybody.
You know, I've been through prison, you know, I've lived a prison life, I've lived a criminal life, a drug life, and you know, since I've been to ICCM, you know, God has been really working with me on changing my whole life in that, where I don't do the drugs, that I don't do crime, I don't, you know, do the things I used to do, go into the clubs or anything. I want to spend the time with the Lord, and I like to spend time at the church. So now I clean at the church. I do everything I can to help this ministry because it's helping so many people.
You know, for a lot of them, it hasn't been easy. For the ministry, it hasn't been easy either.
They say though a righteous man falls 7 times, he gets up. Well, we have witnessed that. They continue to get up and get up and get up, and I am amazed at their resilience.
We have seen lives dramatically changed, and Blueprint for Hope is exactly that. Having the resources to do what we do.